there is a reasonable percentage chance of a genocide when a radical fervent leader who embraces big lies has an entire propaganda wing with them and aims all of your problems at my ancestors. We can take women's rights away, we can take voting rights away, we can take free speech and school rights away. We can take away your driving privileges. We can keep you from getting a license. But like guns that kill kids, that's the hill you guys draw the line. That's your moral high ground where you stand on that hill. And nobody makes you own it. What is wrong with this? Why are you more afraid of workers owning the means of production or reducing the exploitation of Americans for the sake of the rich? Why are you willing to take the moral high ground on the genocide weapon? You are morally outraged if your tax dollars will go to sandwiches for school kids. But where are you when your tax dollars go to pay for a cop shooting settlement or a misconduct settlement? Where are you when faulty ammo is sold to the military? Where are you when Elon and Bezos get billions of dollars of tax breaks? Where are you about your tax dollars going to something? What is wrong with you that your outrage is about a kid getting a sandwich or an education or a parent spending 4 weeks with their fucking brand new baby that you forced them to have? What is wrong with your moral stance that the high ground you take is guns over poverty or housing or it's fucking guns? Own it. Own that you don't give a fuck about kids or families because you won't give them parental leave. You won't fight for more wages because it'll hurt the businesses. You complain people won't work for a shitty fucking wage at shitty hours at an ice cream shop. Own it. You care about corporations and guns and power. You don't care about traditional families. You don't care about religion because if it's the wrong religion, it's okay for them to get Roblox. Own it. Say it with your chest. I don't care if kids get killed. As long as I can tell them what they can and can't say in school, I don't care. Ruling over them is more important than saving their lives. Own it. Say it with your fucking chest. Here's kind of the way I look at this. I heard Vaush talking to Rose Wrist about genocide, and I've heard a bunch of clips, and I've heard blah. Vaush's fucking take is trash. Sorry, Vaush. Your take is trash. There is a likelihood of a genocide. There is. Is it like a government-sponsored genocide? No idea. Is it a genocide where people are rounded up into a camp and systemically Roblox? I don't think so. But I would argue to say we have already experienced 2 genocides over the last 4 years, and we've ignored them. Now, for me, I'll define genocide as intentional actions or intentional inaction to address major systemic issues in our country that leads to thousands and thousands of deaths for the exact same reason. The two preventable ones I'm talking about are COVID and guns. And we know at least 200,000 American lives could have been saved with just different actions, right or left, I don't give a fuck. But we watched a genocide of 200,000 Americans. What was 9/11, 2,900, 3,000? So 175 times 9/11, and we just continue on our lives. And the other one is school kids being murdered. Yeah, we have a gun problem in America, but we have a real problem of those guns getting into schools and killing children. How many dead children constitutes a genocide? I guess if they were not all rounded up by the government, then that doesn't count. If there wasn't an order to go do it, it doesn't count. Well, one party specifically has been shooting down laws
We killed the bill.
to save children for as long as I've been alive. So if we just look at the past 4 years and the acceleration of school shootings, how many children constitutes a genocide with your intentional inaction and obfuscation? Your media blitz, your Murdoch media blitz, your Bannon blitz, your NRA blitz, having a conference with the fascist ex-president, celebrating guns where violence just happened on the graves of children, while saying other people are making it political. So if we've already had those two genocides, what's to say you'll stop the next ones? That's the point Vaush should have been making. Forget what should have happened in Germany. Forget what should have happened in the past. We've had 2 genocides in the last 4 years. And nobody's in the streets every day. Sure, there's like one person out there going, I am. We've watched 2 genocides. Who's going to stop the next one? Or are you going to be a good American neighbor? It's not happening to me, so yes, Vaush. There is the likely or plausible outcome of a genocide in our near future, especially if people that proved in 2020 that they were willing to overthrow democracy. Oh, you're just being sarcastic. Check out my fucking series, The Road to January 6th. It's on our YouTube. We've already covered 7 weeks. It's like 20 hours of content exposing the detailed plan. If you don't want to watch that, there's intros that'll give you 15 minutes. We'll show you there was a fucking coup. 147 people voted to still go on with the coup after the attack. Ooh, but it's just a day. Watch the fucking content. We've had 2 genocides, an attack on democracy, and we're not doing anything about it. So to believe that we can't move into authoritarian fascist territory by 2024 with people that are still in office that were willing to overthrow the government, you're missing everything. But Vaush, your fucking explanation was trash. Trash. What kind of conditions could lead to a genocide? Maybe like corporations getting away with price gouging and testing the limits of elasticity, while the Murdoch media machine and the GOP machine all say it's Biden's fault and they're the enemy and they hate you. So it's the people on the left that are making gas more expensive. It's the people on the left that are making it worse for you. It's the people on the left that are intentionally not letting us live on oil, and they're screwing you over and making your money go away. Every economic thing that is going wrong in your life is Joe Biden and the Democrats' fault. That's the narrative, right? I wonder if we could like go back and say that's ever like happened in the past. Like, dear Americans, the reason you're struggling economically is because the globalists have taken over and they're replacing you in the workplace. That all of these problems that you're dealing with are from the globalists. And if you don't fight the globalists, you're not gonna have a country anymore. And we need to take back our country from the globalists. So wouldn't you be justified to like kind of rig your little state election, county election system every here and there to say that, you know, this happened, wouldn't you be willing to say that justifies the means? Because the globalists were taking your country and you need to take it back, or your way of life is over. They're going to come take your guns. They're going to come to your neighborhood. I'm saving you in the suburbs from the globalists. What would you justify if you felt that the globalists were the reason you're having economic trouble? They were the reason prices are so high. They stole an election from you. Wouldn't you be like almost justified to like write a manifesto and go carry out your patriotic duty? There is a reasonable percentage chance of a genocide when a radical fervent leader who embraces big lies has an entire propaganda wing with them and aims all of your problems at my ancestors. If you think that the idea that my grandfather handled heavy artillery to save the lives of my ancestors in the exact, sorry, not the exact, in extremely similar circumstances to what we have today, when those good German neighbors, just like my good neighbors, watch my ancestors be pulled out of houses, all their belongings stripped from them, their clothes stripped from them, threatened, taken away like prisoners, and the neighbors sat there and did nothing, what are my neighbors going to do? What are your neighbors going to do? What are you going to do? You going to risk your family? You going to risk your kids for your neighbor? I know you have this fantasy in your head. There's 2 genocides you let happen and you did nothing. One of them is kids. I'm supposed to believe you're going to save me? And if it's not me, it's somebody like me. It's trans people. It's LGBTQ. It's anybody. It doesn't have to be me, but if it comes for them, they're coming for me next. Look at history. My people are always next. So is it a government? Is it doesn't matter. But to think we aren't close to the same, like the same type of fascism, to think we're not on the same path, that's your choice. That's you. That's just being a good American neighbor. You mean the neighbors didn't want to end up like that? I completely sympathize with German citizens at the time not doing the right thing because they don't know what the right thing. I agree. I still don't. No. I would not want to die for my neighbor. I'll try to help them out. Yeah. Okay. Read. Okay. So, as far as the last part, I don't disagree that self-preservation was a reasonable choice. I don't want to put my neighbor in that position, so I'm trying to wake them up now. I don't want I don't want you to be in this position, so I'm trying to wake everybody up now. As far as who gets to reach the middle, there's ways to reach the middle. Oh, bastard. Hold on. There's ways to reach the middle. One way to reach the middle is to try to entice them to your side. Entice them to the left. However, I know a lot of conservatives and NIMBYs. And what the left is doing to move people left isn't moving a NIMBY and isn't moving a conservative. It's just not. So, another way to move somebody that is center left, center right, is to show how their beliefs align with the dangerous people that are most likely to come take me out of my house and put you in the position of deciding to watch your neighbor die or you risking your family and the likelihood of your family having to deal with the Nazis. I don't want to reach that position. So one of my goals is to try to show how good moral people are being radicalized without them realizing it. One way I do that is by showing examples of how ludicrous and funny it is to laugh at, but how serious it really is. Okay, I have 2 rules. Rule 1. Assume everything from the right, and I only care about the right now, because if the left has power in America, they still believe in democracy. If the right gets power, they don't. So if the right has all 3 branches of government, I'm not saying democracy ends, but I'm saying the likelihood of it is pretty high. So if that's the case, and you walk a logical path, conservatives getting power leads to the far right getting power, leads to what we've already seen in history. So if I can help good people that are center right, center, and center left, that you don't have to believe what the far left is telling you, but what you have to believe is what you're aligning with. And I'm here to show it to you. I'm here to expose it to you. You want to laugh? Then understand it's confession and projection. And rule 2, always assume what they're doing with intent. No matter how circus-like it is, assume they know what they're doing and make them prove to you that they're dumb. Sometimes they can be both dumb and dangerous at the same time. And if we assume they're working on purpose, we'll protect ourselves from their worst instincts. But if we assume they're dumb, we'll excuse their behavior like we have. We excused the genocide by calling Trump and all those people dumb instead of for what was happening. So, I'm not trying to win a political discussion. I'm trying to show what I think is like my last swing, that good people are out there that are NIMBYs, that want to reduce poverty as long as it doesn't mean a shelter in their backyard. That'll donate to an organization but aren't going to walk down to a homeless camp with some food. I'm talking about people that are fiscally conservative that don't realize that their fiscal conservative views are being manipulated and that they're helping to empower the most dangerous of us. They're good people. I want them to know they're good people and see who they're aligning with. And when you go to church and you sit down in the pew and you look over and you see a white supremacist that you know is a white supremacist, and you don't recoil, you don't leave, you don't run out of there, you don't have a problem with it, you just stay there, and then you start repeating things that they say, like immigrants are taking over our culture. Well, you might be a good person, but I can't risk you being my good neighbor for my life. I hope you can understand that. Like, you're talking about it, like you wouldn't, you identify with the neighbor. Well, I'm your neighbor. Just take that to heart, that if you identify with the neighbor and understand that when forced, you would make that same choice. I'm your neighbor, bruh. I'm the one they're coming for. If they come, not saying they're coming, but if they do, I'm one of them. And I don't want my neighbor to have to do that. I want them to just understand who they're aligning with and recoil.